You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
I'm Stephen Cabral, and today I'm excited to bring you a brand new Friday review. And how I want to start today is actually kind of like what I would say reverse research. So a lot of times in the Friday review, and of course all the different Cabral concepts, I like to talk about research. I like to talk about state-of-the-art research, things that are to be done right now, and not just in the U.S. I believe it's important to understand that the United States does not corner the market on all the education intelligence in the world. So I like to look at the research also being done in Europe and overseas. And the reason is there's a lot less regulation, and the government actually pays for some of the research over there on studies that are not just pharmaceutical based. So that's pretty interesting, I believe, as well, to look at all different ranges of how we can help people. But right now in the United States, something very disturbing is going on. And that's, many people have heard of the magazine Consumer Reports. Well, right now, they've literally joined up with Big Pharma, which a lot of people refer to as the pharmaceutical industry, and they've systematically now been trying to slander nutritional supplements in saying that they should be regulated by the U.S. government. Now, it's one of the most insane things anyone could really say, because how are we going to give the U.S. government, who is not doing a great job at regulating a lot of things, the ability to regulate nutritional supplements, which on almost all accounts cause 0 to maybe 1 death per year. All right, so almost no one dies from nutritional supplements. Where on the other hand, the third leading cause of death in the United States is pharmaceutical drugs, and especially the interaction of multiple pharmaceutical drugs at the same time. And even something like Tylenol that you can get right over the counter has been shown to kill over 500 people per year. I mean, beta blockers alone have killed almost 1 million people in 5 years. That's over 800,000 people, beta blockers alone, typically for blood pressure, in just 5 years. So what we need to focus on right now isn't so much nutritional supplements or regulating them. And the reason is this: I don't have a problem with regulating them if it wasn't then put in the hands of a half a dozen companies. But the problem is when you regulate them, you're going to then put them in the government's hand. And the government now, instead of you paying maybe like $29 to $39 for your typical nutritional supplement per month. Most supplements are around like $1 per day for a really good one, right? A very cheap one that's made from like chalk or like just absolutely nothing might cost you like $10 a month. And again, like vitamin D, that's very inexpensive, so that's only going to cost a few dollars a month. But real good quality nutritional supplements, you can't make for that cheap, or they're not even worth taking. But here's the issue. If they're now regulated by just a few companies, they can sell them just like drugs would sell, basically, right? Pharmaceutical drugs. You're going to be paying maybe like 3 times the amount that you should be paying for a nutritional supplement. It's not going to allow for free competition, which means like a lot of great people putting money into research, because then they can create great nutritional supplements from it. What you can do is you're going to, again, put it into only companies that are billion-dollar companies, and that takes away a lot of the other people that are doing great work, great research in this market, and for the most part, they are completely safe. The only thing I agree with from this statement by Consumer Reports and a lot of others is that you have to watch out for any of the ones that are meant to like speed up your metabolism, right? We want to watch for those. We want to watch for like a lot of the fake weight loss ones, like take this product and it will suppress your appetite and boost your metabolism by like 1,000% in an hour. You know, anything like that's absolutely ridiculous, and you should watch out for that. You should also watch out for the ones that say, you know, testosterone enhancer or sexual performance enhancer. Any of those, like the shady ones, I think we know this though by now, right? You can't, so the problem is you can't just regulate those and not regulate all the other ones. I would simply say we need to watch out for those specific ones that are really looking into more of like the sexual enhancement enhancement or the weight loss enhancement or maybe like the strength-based enhancement. But the ones that boost immunity, like the medicinal mushrooms and the vitamin C and the vitamin E, I mean, how can we possibly take those away from people and regulate it? It's a really bad slippery slope we get into when we start to do things like that, of regulating certain industries which are completely natural. Again, I find that very, very scary, and the repercussions of what that could lead to. And so it's certainly not something that I want to see. I just think that all these great functional medicine companies should be allowed to do their research, allowed to bring you the best quality nutritional supplements at the lowest price that they can, and not have to have that by a government-based regulation. Of course, they are regulated in terms of the FDA looking into them, and they should be GMP certified. I believe that, meaning like whatever's in that product should be certified to show that. That I do think that we need to do, but certainly not from a government-regulated standpoint. So I just want to share that with you. I'll link it up. I first saw this on Mercola.com. He did kind of a longer article on it. I'm just giving you my take. They get more into the politics. I'm not really into the politics. I just know that it will hurt a lot of people, and those people then won't get access to the nutritional supplements, which we know right now not only gets people healthy, but it saves, millions of lives every year, just being able to access these great quality nutritional supplements. Okay, so we're off that topic now, and I'm going to give you, now moving on, this is a book that I really like. And I actually am excited to review this today because I haven't read it for a few years, but I read it multiple times, and I pulled it off my bookshelf. And what it's called The Metabolic Typing Diet. It's by William Walcott. I've actually spoken with William Walcott a few times. This was many years back. He wrote this book in 2000, so now it's 16 years old. But I'm telling you, a lot of the best research, a lot of the best books, they were just, and now don't get me wrong, there's lots of great books now today as well. But a lot of the books that I love just came from like 10, 20, even 75, 100 years ago. And it's why? And it's because of this, right? Right now, in 2016, we're obsessed with things like the keto diet. We're obsessed with the all or one, like all or nothing. And what people just a lot of times fail to realize is that I know you get excited about a topic. Like when I did my keto show, people are like, oh, well, you haven't listened to this person. I'm like, yes, I have. Like I listen to everyone. I buy everyone's book. I read everything. And I don't take the advice that I give you lightly. The problem is that we as humans have been looking at food and our own nutrition, what's best for us for millennia. Literally, well, more than that, right? And we are not human beings that can all be on the same exact nutrition plan. Like that has to come through eventually to a lot of the people coming out with these specific research studies. And it's great to have the research studies, don't get me wrong. But the problem is this, that a keto-based diet is not great for everyone. Like, it's just not a great long-term approach. And I understand, I've read the research. I have. And it is. There's great research for tumor-based cancers. There's great research for weight loss. There's a lot of those things. Yes. But what about a overall healthy diet that someone's going to maintain? William Walcott shows in his book, and again, I really enjoy this book. Now, I don't agree with all the dairy-based recommendations in there, but it's not even that he's saying eat dairy. What he's saying is he's showing that some people are more protein diet type people who need less starch and more vegetables and more protein and fat, all right? So less starches. And some people need more starches. They need more carbohydrates. And we knew this 10,000 years ago in Ayurvedic medicine. So you can't tell me now in 2016 that we're just going to debunk Ayurvedic medicine, which has been around for over 10,000 years. Like, that's just not going to happen. Some people are a good mixture of those two. Some people are what's called a fast oxidizer, or more, burn up their food faster. They're a protein type. And some people are more carbohydrate type, meaning like they just burn sugar at a much more rapid rate. They're not going to get type 2 diabetes very, very rarely. Their body needs that sugar because they're sympathetic nervous system based. They can't break down these heavy meals, and they need sugar. That's how their body operates, glucose based. So, this isn't the only book, right? Like Dr. Dama wrote a book like this. Ayurveda has a book like this. Mercola has a book like this. William Walcott's book. Everybody who knows about good nutrition understands that there is no one diet for every person. And so whenever you see someone promoting their diet that works for everyone in the long term, remember the long term, then you know that that person really has a lot more education, a lot more study to do. They could be an expert in their field, don't get me wrong, and you should listen to them, but not for overall healthy lifestyle. And that's what this book talks about. It talks about just specifically how we're different. Our nervous systems really make up a lot of how we digest food, and we know this for everyone, right? Because if you're more anxious and you're more hyped up and all of those things, well, you're going to have less blood flow to your stomach. You're going to have less digestive strength. You're going to break food down slower. Like, these are all physiological things that happen within our body. It's science. It's not made up. So I think it's really important. And again, even when you look at a cleanse or you look at intermittent fasting or you look at even like long-term just water fasting that Herbert Sheldon did many, many years ago, he wasn't promoting that for a lifetime. He was promoting it for a certain step of time. I do the same exact thing. I promote somewhere between 7 and 21 days for each person to really decrease inflammation, to regulate those hormone levels, and yes, potentially tap into ketosis, but not long term. And that's the difference, is we can do something for a short period of time as long as we have an end goal of what to get to. And that end goal is differently. Like, if you transition off of a detox, a cleanse, an elimination diet, a FODMAP plan, a whatever, you are then going to see at that point, what does your body need? Does it need a little bit more carbohydrates? Is that what it's telling you? It needs a little bit more starch. Do you feel better that way? Or do you need a little bit more fats? Do you need a higher fat diet? Your body will tell you that after you start to get it clean. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, I'm not going to go on and on about that. It's a great book. That's the bottom line. Metabolic typing diet. Again, never agree with everything, but William Walcott is a smart guy. He knows what he's talking about, without a doubt, and we can all benefit from understanding that even if we don't follow this specific diet exactly, what we do need to know is that we're all unique and that we do fit into more of a mold of needing more protein and fats, or more of a mold of needing more carbohydrates and less proteins and fats. And again, that may not make sense right away to everyone, and even health experts that I speak with all the time, but it will after you've done a little bit more research. And that's all you have to do. Just keep on researching. Remember, this is a journey. Like, we don't need to figure this out tomorrow. We're all moving through this together. All right. And the last part of our Friday review is a product that I've really started to get into more. And that's, medicinal mushrooms, but in this case is actually looking at chaga. And chaga it's called the king of medicinal mushrooms. That's what some people call it. But here's the thing. Here's why I like it. It's a very different when you look at it in terms of a mushroom. That's because it's hard. It grows as a fungus on a tree. So it actually looks like a growth on a tree, and it's not even harvested for, I believe, about 3 to 5 years after it actually starts to grow. And it has this kind of like burnt look to it. It's like this yellowish ochre-based color. And it has like a burnt outside to it. Now, you can actually buy it in its whole form, and then you can boil it, and you can actually drink, the water, obviously, from the tea that's been boiled, and you can just take out the pieces of chaga. Or you can do what I do, which is just a very simple, easy version, is I get it ground, and I use that, and I either just kind of mix it up in water, and so I drink it just like that, which is great, or you can buy it in a tea bag too. So one of the reasons why I'm using this is I like to do a little less coffee, when possible, or just do less coffee in general, not when it's possible. And this has almost more of like a coffee feel to it, which I like, so it helps me replace any of coffees that I do want. And also, one of the big things is that I'm always looking for new ways to say, how can we reduce inflammation a little bit more naturally? Like, we have turmeric, right? We have ginger. Well, we also have chaga. Chaga is a great thing to do that too. And some people don't always react greatly to one thing. Like, some people don't react greatly to ginger. It gives them more heartburn, gives them more irritation. And some people don't react greatly to turmeric because it can be more of a blood thinner. It can drop glucose levels a little bit. Again, everything's great. So again, look at each individual person. What works best for you? But chaga does something else that I really like, and that it helps balance your immune system. So they're showing it more for people what's called a Th2 imbalance, meaning more people who have more like chronic fatigue, and they have allergies, and they have these histamine-based issues. Well, chaga and a few of the other like reishi mushrooms are being shown to help balance that, meaning like increase Th1 a little bit and decrease Th2. So I'm definitely going to bring you much more information in the future on all medicinal mushrooms, not just chaga, because medicinal mushrooms have been used for thousands of years. They've actually found remains of humans from the paleo era, I believe, with actually a little bag of mushrooms on them. And these aren't hallucinogenic mushrooms, they're medicinal mushrooms that people use to actually improve their immunity, which was so greatly important. But not only that, they use them for endurance too, because a lot of these people lived in mountain-based areas and they use things like cordyceps, which is, again, another mushroom or fungus that can be used for endurance. So let's just stick with chaga today. It's a great anti-inflammatory, good for the skin, good for ulcers and gastritis, also good for regulating the immune system. So check it out if you haven't already. I'll link up some products in the show notes of where you can get it in capsule form, because you can take it as a capsule if you don't like to drink tea, and also in tea form. That is it for today's Cabral Concept, our Friday review. I hope you enjoyed it, and do please feel free to always forward the show to anyone you believe it could help. Thanks again, and I look forward to speaking with you tomorrow when we do our house calls answering your questions from the week. Are you ready to heal yourself and then go on to heal others? If so, the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute can help you discover proven functional medicine protocols that blend the best of 7 different healing disciplines from around the world. I personally share with you the exact handouts and protocols I use in my private practice that enable people to get well, lose the weight, and live longer, stronger. I want to pass this information on to the next generation of health coaches, and that is exactly why I created IHP. We are the future of the health coaching industry, and the skills and knowledge you will learn will make you an in-demand certified health coach anywhere in the world. Although we have many medical professionals taking the IHP certifications, no experience is necessary, and half our members have no previous health certifications. At the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, our motto is a health coach in every home. Our goal is that you take this knowledge and then share it with family, friends, loved ones, your community, or in a practice where you create a career you love and can be proud of. The global IHP community is filled with some of the most kind and caring people in the world, and we can't wait to welcome you into our world soon. For more information or to set up a discovery call with one of our IHP Health Coach graduates, simply head over to integrativehealthpractitioner.org.